What's up, you guys? So, as you can tell by the title of this video and the thumbnail, I have some more leak updates that I want to cover here on the channel. I was looking back at some of my old videos on stuff I reported on, and I was like, there's some piece of info over the months since I last covered this that has kind of lended some credence to these leaks that people weren't so sure on, or other leakers in the community were just flat out saying these were wrong. So I'm going to get right down to this list and give you all my thoughts on everything, as always. So sit on back, grab a snack, and listen to me ramble. So first up here, reissue of Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime, unrelated to the mystery leader of the Walmart capsule, normal AOP repack. Hasbro has no plans for a new mold, they think the Siege one is enough. Sentinel retool from Siege Astro Train. No current plans for animated/movie Titan class. We haven't heard rumors about new mini-bots, Lugnut, Armada, Jetfire, Broadside, etc. Nothing as far as it looks. So some of this stuff has aged well, and some of this stuff has aged horrible. So it's kind of weird, because what I think happened here, so this information was passed down from people in, I believe, like Chinese social media sites, and then those were passed down from previous leakers, and it's kind of a telephone game, and they probably got that from Takara or Hasbro workers. Maybe it's outdated info, maybe it's info that was going to happen but it was changed, or maybe it was misinformation, because I don't know if Hasbro or Takara does that, but it seems like a corporation would want to put out different information to see if people would want it, or to get the scent off the trail of actual stuff that's happening. So it really can be a multitude of different things as to why some of this stuff is true and some of it isn't, or maybe it was just a lucky list. We honestly don't know. But the Galaxy Upgrade Optimus I did recently talk about, but I think with how Hasbro is handling reissues recently, they are going to probably reissue this figure because it is kind of pricey on the aftermarket. People do want it. And then maybe like a year or 2 years later, they are going to do a more accurate new mold of Cybertron Optimus, because they have been recently talking about it, that they would want to make a new Cybertron Optimus that is more faithful to the cartoon. And the Sentinel retool from Astro Train, this is seemingly more and more likely, because we do have an exclusive listing for a Sentinel Prime pack. I think it's like a multi-pack or a weapons pack or something like that, that is being released in 2026. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is an exclusive, which I think it is rumored that it's going to be an exclusive, that it would be a retool of a previous mold, because that's usually what exclusives are. There's an occasional new mold that's an exclusive, but most of them are either repaints or retools of previous molds. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do that to reference the Titans Return Sentinel Prime, and also his IDW design would probably lend to that retool as well, just like what they did during Titans Return. And the no current plans for animated/movie Titan class is a bit outdated. Maybe the leaker or the information that they got originally meant animated, because we do not know of any Titan class animated bots. But for the movie stuff, obviously we know that the Dinobots are getting the Titan class treatment, starting with Grimlock in 2026. So half of this is outdated, half of this might probably be true, just going by the updates we've gotten, because we still haven't heard anything on animated Titan class stuff for next year and in 2027. So we're really going to have to wait and see on how this plays out. And the rumors about not hearing any new mini-bots, Lugnut, Armada, Jetfire, Broadside, and stuff like that is obviously a bit outdated, because we obviously know Armada Jetfire is getting a commander class in 2026. We are getting new mini-bots. Lugnut and Broadside, they have been brought up in certain things I'm going to cover later on this week on the channel probably, but we haven't heard anything official on them, so it might be a case of this was the truth at one point, because remember, I covered this on the channel like September or October of 2024, over a year ago, so a lot of things can change over at Hasbro and Takara with plans. This might have been plans from like 2023 or 2022. We honestly have no idea. But it is interesting to note that 2 of these are now happening, and then 2 of these are heavily rumored, or we just basically have nothing for listings yet. So we're really going to have to wait and see on what happens with Lugnut or Broadside, but I do definitely see a Lugnut leader class or commander class happening in the next few years. I think he's more likely than Broadside, but I do see both of them happening at some point down the line. And this next list here, again, is from a Chinese social media source. I can't remember exactly who it was from because this was like a leak from over a year ago. But this list is kind of big, so I'm going to read it and go through it as always. So number 1, probably no new Titan character. Hasbro will sell Titan in other way. 2, there will be fan voting. 3, there might be Octane and Broadside in 2025. 5, possible reissue of Titan's Return Trypticon and the thigh screws problem will be fixed, although I think Trypticon's problem is not in the screws. 6, Primus is coming. The weapons from 13 Primes can be built as Primus's weapon. He also said here, these infos from an overseas friend, and this is the second time he talked about Fortress. He used to say a designer is comic fans, and he wants to make IDW Fortress and Overlord using Armada Megatron and Titan's Return Overlord. Probably remold like how Hasbro made the new IDW Optimus. So as you can tell by this list here, this is a lot to kind of break down and talk about with having a hindsight of over a year of information and releases. So the no new Titan character Hasbro is going to sell another way. And by the way, you could tell that a lot of this is broken English. So again, that lends to this information being passed down, probably lost in translation from English with certain details. And, you know, there's a lot of things going on here with this leak from last year. So there's a lot that you could speculate on and say maybe they got it wrong because of this or that. But the no new Titan character Hasbro is going to sell in another way. That obviously means that they were changing the price point, and they did Star Convoy and Grimlock. We don't know the price point on him yet, and he's supposed to be coming out early next year. So it really did seem like they knew about Titan class changing like close to a year before it actually came out, and a few months before it was announced. So that's really interesting. Obviously, they got the fan voting part right because we just had a fan vote for the Shockwave alternate modes a couple months ago, and he's going to be releasing in, 2027 or something. Octane and Broadside in 2025, obviously either wrong information or just outdated info that was right at one point, but plans changed. I think we are going to get Octane and Broadside at some point in the next few years. Like, they're one of the main G1 cartoon characters that's missing from modernized updates to get, just better figures from their Prime Wars trilogy counterparts that we've been seeing the last few years of redos. So I would say getting these two characters in like 2027 or 2028 at the earliest seems plausible. Like a leader class Broadside, a leader class Octane, I could definitely see that happening. And obviously, they got right the Titans Return Trypticon reissue with the problem being fixed, which if I remember correctly, that was reported that the problem was fixed. I could be wrong on that, but they got that right as well, that Trypticon was getting a reissue earlier this year. So, I mean, this just lends to some of this information being true and some of it either being wrong or outdated. We honestly, again, don't know what was going on with this info. Primus is coming and the 13 Prime weapons being built for Primus's weapon. We have heard rumblings, I think from Hasbro themselves in interviews. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I remember hearing something about this, that yes, you can combine the 13 Prime's weapons into one large weapon, and we still don't know why that is. So it would make sense that we would be getting a Primus at some point that would be able to hold this big weapon that would be combined from all the other 13 Prime weapons. So I think we have our answer right here, that Primus is coming and he's going to be able to hold that weapon that can combine together, which is interesting. I could see Primus being the 2026 HasLab. He's been teased for a couple years now from Hasbro on how they want to do him and that they have interest on doing a new Primus, and I think he was teased as a HasLab back in 2024 before it was revealed that it was Omega Prime. Like, they threw him up on the wall in like some HasLab promotion video, but then it was announced that it was Omega Prime. Maybe they were teasing something and throwing off the scent of it being Omega Prime and stuff like that, but Hasbro's been talking about doing a Primus, and him being the HasLab for 2026 seems kind of likely in my opinion. And the Fortress Maximus and Overlord piece of information, you know, we just got a few months ago a listing for Fortress Maximus in the Studio Series comic line as a leader class for 2027. So, I mean, this is just another thing that this leaked list got right. And they're also talking about Overlord. So does that mean he's also releasing in 2027 or maybe 2028 at the earliest, and we're going to see a listing of him in the next year or two? That would be kind of interesting. I mean, they already got Fortress Maximus, so I wouldn't be surprised if Overlord isn't too far behind in 2027 release alongside him. And you know how they've been handling the comic characters, I could definitely see him being a retool of Armada Megatron. Both of these characters being retools of previous molds, because it seems like they don't really want to put too much budget into the comic characters, but I could be wrong on that. I mean, it could be a new mold, it could be outdated information right here. We honestly have no idea. But yeah, guys, that does it for this list here that I wanted to cover. Again, a lot of interesting updates on this in terms of stuff that's right or wrong or outdated info, so we're really gonna have to wait and see on what happens with some of this stuff here. But yeah, guys, let me know down below, how do y'all feel about this information? And yeah, guys, thanks for watching this video. Catch y'all in the next one. Bye.